The sound of rain hitting a window pane is the only thing louder than the silence in this town. And that's exactly how our story starts, with the sound of rain, but not just any rain. Wren was a shy composer who spent his days wandering the town, his heart heavy with a melody he couldn't quite place. It was a girl singing, and her voice was like the rain, soft, melancholic, and utterly enchanting. He followed the sound and found her in an abandoned warehouse by the river. Her name was Himari, and she was as free-spirited and dreamy as the rain that followed her everywhere. It was a song he'd begun years ago, a song about longing and loss, but he'd misplaced it somewhere in the labyrinth of his memory. The soft, gentle pitter-patter of raindrops falling from the sky. In that moment, Wren realized that the song he'd been chasing wasn't just about longing and loss. It was about finding solace in the midst of life's melancholy. One day, while wandering through a dusty antique shop, Himari came across an old record player and a stack of vinyl records. Among them was one that caught her eye. When the song ended, she looked at Wren, her expression a mix of sadness and determination. She told him that she had to leave, that the song had brought back memories she couldn't hold on to. When she placed it on the turntable and the music began to fill the room, Wren felt a jolt. It was the melody he'd been searching for, the song he'd begun so long ago. In the quaint town of Aishi, nestled between rolling hills and a murmuring river, lived a young man named Wren. One rainy afternoon, as Wren strolled along the riverbank, lost in thought, he heard a voice. He found himself drawn to her, not just because of her voice or her spirit, but because of the melancholic beauty that surrounded her like a shrine. It became his most famous work, resonating with people who'd experienced the bittersweet pangs of lost love and forgotten dreams. But no matter how many times he played it, the only voice he could ever hear was the one that existed only in his memory. The voice of a girl who sounded like the rain. Heartbroken but inspired, Wren poured all his emotions into the song, composing the rest of it in one long aching crescendo. As the rain intensified, they took shelter under a nearby bridge, and there, amidst the drumming rain and the rushing water, they talked for hours. Himari, with her flowing hair and eyes that mirrored the gray skies, told him about her life, her dreams, and her voice, which she believed sounded like the rain. She was like a soothing melody that chased away the dissonance of his loneliness. They explored the forgotten corners of the town together, quiet streets lined with shuttered shops and houses with vacant windows, each place whispering tales of lives once lived there. Wren listened intently, his composer's heart aching to capture her voice in a song. He started composing again, pouring his heart and soul into the unfinished song. They met again the following day, and then again after that, each meeting as serendipitous and as inevitable as the rain. As the days turned into weeks, Wren began to feel that the melody he'd been searching for was returning to him. Piece by piece, inspired by Himari's voice and the haunting beauty of their rainy town. Meanwhile, Himari's presence brought a sense of calm to Wren's life. At an old train station, its tracks overgrown with weeds, they shared an umbrella, sheltering under its faded glory. But fate, it seemed, had a different ending in mind for them. As the music swelled, he saw Himari's face illuminated by the record player's warm glow, her eyes shining with And just like that, she was gone, leaving Wren with the echoes of her voice and the unfinished song that was now complete. When it was finished, he named it Echoes of an Unfinished Song.